All right, welcome here to Sunday, the second part of our podcast, the Small Business Podcast, with co-host Chris Tracy and myself, Steve Seymour. And today we have a special guest in the house, Toby Rinaldi. What's going on, Toby?
What's happening? How you doing?
I'm doing okay.
All right.
So today we're going to be talking real estate. That is today's topic. So give us a little background about yourself, Toby, and how you got started in real estate and what you're up to now.
All right. Well, I was born and raised in Bristol. Worked pretty much factory work until about almost 7 years ago, and I got tired of being in the factory, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to see myself 15 years, 20 years down the road working in a factory. So I had a coworker whose mother had a real estate school and her own brokerage, and he said, I think you'd be a good fit. So I took the test, and it's been a great 6 years in the real estate world. Started out with a small brokerage when I first got my license, and switched over to Keller Williams, where
How'd you like that?
I actually learned a lot. I'm where I'm at today because of that.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow, it's the first time I heard something positive.
Yeah, I mean, there are people that have obviously a bunch of different opinions, and definitely introduced to people who I'm in business with today.
Yeah.
And I learned a great deal.
Oh, that's
And,
good. Now you have your own brokerage now.
Yes, I do. I have two business partners, and we have Lux Realty. It's in Newington.
Oh, you're right in Newington. I didn't know that.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
When did you guys start that?
It's been, it was 2 years this past February.
And you haven't called me once. Just messing with you.
He got
It's
me.
cut out for you now.
He got me.
Silence.
So yeah, Toby's awesome. I've known Toby since elementary school. Great guy. And every day, we were just talking about this, every day in my social media feed, I see a testimonial from a case study about someone that you work with, Toby, a client. Literally, it's almost every day. And it's actually, it's like, what is going on with this guy? So I got to know, if you want, we could talk about that later, but I don't know if you just want to start with maybe one, you could give us the current state of affairs with, everyone wants to know the market, right? So what's going on with the real estate market? What say you on that? Where are we with the market?
So right now, the market is a extreme seller's market, which means the inventory is very low. Buyer demand is very high. So the sellers have an advantage on what is going on, and houses are selling in 48, 72 hours, 30, 40, 50 grand over ask. Basically,
And that's average, too.
average, yes.
Isn't that crazy?
Yes, average. And with no contingencies. Buyers are waiving their inspections. They're doing appraisal gaps, which means if the property, say we're under contract for 530 and the property appraises for 520, the buyers are paying the difference out of pocket.
Is there still a lot of New Yorkers that are coming in? Or because I know it was for a while. They were buying everything.
Yes, it was when COVID first came out. There was influx of buyers coming from New York without even seeing the properties, just making offers without even going. But right now, it's leveled out. It don't see as much.
Oh,
as
it has
before.
leveled out.
Leveled
So
out, yeah.
we're getting back to Connecticut buyers.
Yeah, for me anyway.
That's good.
What I'm seeing.
That's a lot of like market stuff, right? So you don't really have too much control over that. But the stuff that I see is stuff about how clients love working with you, like the more like the intangible stuff about you're a great guy, your customer service, you're Johnny on the spot. You really cater to clients' needs, kind of like stuff that they're just not used to. Like they're taken back by it. They're like, wow, like you're a freaking superhero. You know, the market is the market, but it seems like your customer service is like your wheelhouse. Like you just bend over backwards for clients, which kind of separates you from other agents because they're just like, yeah. And we've heard that story where people try to sell their house and they got a question with the agent. Oh, the agent's not calling me back, blah, blah, blah. But all these testimonials and stuff I see in my social media feeds from clients that you work with about how you're such a great guy. Is that safe to say? Is that your superpower? It's your customer service about how you just, somebody calls you, you get right back to them, as best you can, and you're not just kind of like, it's not a side hustle for you. Like this is what you do, and you're like excelling at it.
Absolutely. I mean, real estate's about relationships, and if I don't sell houses, I don't get paid. So I try to be there as best as I can for clients because they're relying on me to make a big purchase, and so when they call, ask questions, I try to get back to them as soon as possible. It's about, a lot of my clients become friends.
Right.
After.
And you get a lot of referrals that
Yes,
way too. So that's a huge thing.
Yes, my business is based off past client referrals and, my sphere, friends, family referring me business. So I try to stay on top of that.
Yeah, that's great. Definitely check out Toby on social media, Facebook. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about. I'm not making this stuff up. It's they just keep going. It's really like every day I see one. So good for you, Toby. That's awesome how you're really helping people with their real estate needs and all that.
What do you call it? What pays off for you besides word of mouth? Does anything else pay off like as far as marketing goes? Like what do you do to stand out rather than other realtors or brokers?
So Facebook. I try and stay active on Facebook. If I house goes under contract, I try and make a post about that, or when house closes, or if I get a client review, I try and post that on Facebook and Instagram just to stay on top of mind with people. So
your broker's license, what are the rules? Don't you have to have your real estate license for X amount of years or something like that? How does that work?
So for a broker, you have to have your real estate license for 2 years.
Okay.
I have just my real estate license. One of my business partners has the broker's license.
Okay.
Me and my other business partner hang our license under her broker license.
Okay.
But that's what it is. It's 2 years of having your real estate license.
Is that a nightmare? Or?
From what I hear, brokers' tests are hard.
They are.
They are.
I would never want to be a realtor or a broker.
Yeah.
I don't like people.
You have to in this industry. It's all about personalities and relationships. The real estate license is tough too. I passed it my first time, but a lot of agents, from what I hear,
excuse me. You rarely hear that.
It's not like you're taking a weekend seminar at Tunxus. Like you really have to study for it. It's not like you're not getting out of a Cracker Jack box. It's
right. It's a big deal.
It is.
Yeah.
I literally, before I took the test, I locked myself in the bedroom for a month and just studied.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I've seen, well, obviously, I think I have I want to say 27 realtors that I deal with. And I've seen the stuff you guys have to go through. I'm just the photographer and do video and stuff like that. And I'm like, I don't understand. Like some of these homeowners, they you tell them to do certain things, get your house ready, do this, do that. And they think that their house is clean or whatever, and it's ready to go. But then you being a realtor, you're like, this shit isn't, it's not done. You know what I mean? Like, so, and I see them trying to coach their sellers, say, hey, you have to do this. You have to. And some of the homeowners, they take it personal.
Yes.
I want to keep I like these tchotchkes because I think they look great, but you're not selling your tchotchkes, you're selling your house. So what do you recommend to sellers? What's your main gripe or main thing they should do to get their house ready that you think that is a must?
So curb appeal is one.
Yeah.
Obviously the first thing a person's seeing when they pull up to a house is the outside.
Right.
So absolutely that is one. And then just less is best.
Right.
Clutter, put the clutter away. Countertops clean. And then person like you comes in, takes the photos, and it goes online, and then
Right.
that's where it goes out to, where buyers are online looking at it. So the photos is what brings the buyers to the house. So when we go to listing appointments, we have to set that expectation of what it's going to be like. If you want your house to sell at this is what needs to be done.
Right. Now, I'm sorry to cut you out.
No,
I got a
going.
couple more questions.
Yeah.
So are people being insulted, shall I say, if you give them a price which they think is low, but you knowing because you're a realtor that it's probably going to go a lot higher? Do they get pissed off because they think their house is worth more, which it is, but you also get multiple offers?
In the past, I think right now when you go there, because when I always go to my appointments, I bring the comparables. And comparables are what is similar houses are selling in town. You bring that, you tell them here is what the market is saying your house is valued at.
Right.
You set it at a certain price. Obviously, we want to sell the house for as much as possible.
Correct.
Everybody wins there. But if we price it right, it's going to sell in multiple offers.
Yeah, you'll get a bidding war.
You'll get a bidding war, and then you have buyers that are, doing the appraisal gaps, waiving inspections, and you have, depending on what the scenario.
That must be a dream for you guys when they waive inspections and all that stuff, right?
It is, because inspections, depending on the property, a lot of times, even being on the buy side with my buyers, inspections, a lot of times that is the axe in the deal.
A lot of things can go bad.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What do you got there?
Number
Chris?
one mistake someone looking to sell their house should avoid, probably not spicing it up with the curb appeal and staging it and doing all that. Like, what's the biggest pitfall you're seeing that potential sellers should avoid?
Overpricing.
Yeah, that's a big one. Like I was saying, they think because they have such an emotional attachment to their house or what they bought it for. They're like, or my neighbor sold their house for $300,000.
Yes.
Well, that's your neighbor, first of all, and your house needs to be updated. First of all, your neighbor has brand new countertops. You don't. You know what I mean? And they take that personally. It could be a bigger house. Their house could be bigger, but if that smaller house looks 100 times better than yours does, and it's updated, it makes it so much easier to sell. Like now, what's the usual radius that you go for comps? Like, because like on my street, the house right next door literally is, I want to say 1,000 square feet.
Yeah.
Mine's about 3,000 something. But then there's a house at the end of our street is 10,000 square feet.
Yeah.
So how do you like, is it by like a radius, a 1 mile radius?
So-
Or how does that work?
It goes by style of house. So capes with capes, colonials.
Oh, I see.
That's how you do the
Oh, that's how you do it. Okay.
yeah. So like that. But then you want to go closer.
Okay.
So you go in. I start with a mile.
Okay.
And then if I can't find nothing, I'll widen it out. Sometimes you have to go in the entire town.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, no
Sometimes.
shit. I
Depends.
didn't know
Most of the time you don't have to, but sometimes yes.
Wow. I just thought it was like the street itself.
Yeah. No, it's then, but that's the neighborhood. The neighborhood's gonna help it sell.
Yeah,
So
right.
like if you have a good valued neighborhood,
Yeah.
it's gonna be beneficial to your home.
Oh, okay.
And then like condos are different. So I just learned this way. I sold my cousin's condo a few months back, and I thought that when the appraiser did the value for the condo that it was in the complex, but excuse me, there wasn't that. It was 40,000 over ask, so there wasn't too many comps in the complex. So he went into the complex next door and pulled comps, and it sold for 40,000 over.
See, all right. Remember when I said I didn't want to be a realtor? It's stuff like that makes me want to be a realtor or a broker. But yeah, I don't know. Is it worth it?
I love it.
You do love it.
I love my job.
Now, are you one of those realtors that are like working until like 1 a.m?
It depends. I mean,
Or do you give your photographer a phone call at 1 o'clock in the morning? Say,
I don't. I shut down by a certain time.
You see where
but-
this is going, Toby?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. But I mean, when I first became a realtor, like it was not. I didn't know any balance.
right.
Today, I have some balance in my life, but still, at the same time, you're working every day.
yeah.
Last weekend, Memorial Day weekend, I'm at a cookout, and I had to take some time out to do some work. It's just the business you're in. If you want to be successful, you have to be like this.
Yeah, you got to grind.
Yes, absolutely. Grind.
Yep. So
I think we covered the sellers. How about buyers? Same questions. What can you say to help someone looking to buy? I think we even mentioned briefly before we turned the cameras on about there's a interesting relationship a lot of people don't know about where they're in a renting situation, but maybe they could own instead of giving their money to the landlord.
Absolutely. Right now, if you're renting, you're paying your landlord's mortgage, and you can be paying your own mortgage, building equity. A lot
for the
of
same amount.
absolutely or less.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right.
There's so many programs available right now for first-time home buyers, and right now there's a program called Time to Own,
Okay.
where the government's giving out forgivable money.
Oh, so it's a government.
It's address specific. So this address, you may be eligible for 25,000. That address down the street, it might be 50,000.
Now, what's the interest rate on that?
So it depends.
Are they like high?
Rates are high right now. It has a lot to do with credit score, but the rates are in between maybe high 6s to low 7s right now.
Really? Ours is at 2,
Yeah,
and that was like 7 years ago.
yeah. I mean, 2 years ago they were in the 2s.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, was really during COVID?
COVID. When COVID hit, I thought I was gonna have to get another job. I had my best year, first year of COVID.
I know, because when COVID hit, I'm like, oh shit, man, no one's gonna be calling me. It was the busiest I've ever been.
Yeah,
I had like 2 of my record years was during COVID.
I sold over 50 houses the first year of COVID.
That's insane, isn't it?
You sold 50 houses your first year?
In COVID, not my first year. In
Oh,
COVID.
during the pandemic.
Yeah,
Like
isn't that crazy? You would think it'd be the opposite.
Still, even if you do whatever that comes out to, help me with the math, but 15, 16, 17 a year, like that's not chump change. You know, if you
No.
break that out.
Yeah,
especially when you're just getting started.
Yeah, my first year I sold 6 houses, and then I moved over to Keller Williams. I think first year there I sold 30 something, and then every year since it's been an average about between 40 to 50.
All right, so now I got another quick question because there's a couple brokers that have 1 million realtors, and do they feed off of each other's? I'll say, well, there's a couple companies that they have their realtors posting their fellow realtors also. Let's say, for instance, you know, there's a thing out there. Let's say there's a realtor, but it's really someone else's listing, but the other realtor will list it, but they both work for the same company.
Yeah, we do that.
How does that work?
So it's just all
Is
about,
it a shared commission type thing?
No commission. It's just we do it with our brokerage.
Okay.
You know, we all share each other's listings because
is that what it is?
we're trying to track buyers for that listing one, and we're trying to track buyers for ourselves, so where we can, you know, sell that house.
All right, so let's say you're a broker, okay? He has a listing, but I'm pushing his listing for him also. Do I get anything out of it?
No, the only way that you would get it if there was a referral, like if you gave them like the listing, if you referred them the listing.
Or make it like a secret deal. I'll give you. You can't do that. Is that
No,
illegal?
that's illegal.
It is.
Yes.
Really?
Oh yeah.
No secret deals.
Well, not a secret deal, but just say, hey, Chris, you know, I sold this house for you. You want to give me 1%?
No, you have to have your real estate license to get a commission.
No, I'm saying, like, yeah, if I was a realtor also.
If like
and we're working in the same company.
I've never heard of that. So how it is, like, say if it's, you know, like someone, hey, I have a buyer, you know, I have just, you know, my hands full right now, you know, can you take this buyer for me and give me 25% of the commission? Or, hey, I have this listed.
Oh, so you can do that then?
You can. Yeah, different scenarios, but yeah, you can't say different how you were saying it. No.
Okay, I see. I'm a little confused, but I see. Okay, like if I had a buyer for you, then I can say,
if you weren't working with, say, hey, I have a buyer.
Yeah.
That you didn't, you know, say you have 10 buyers right now.
Okay.
You don't have time for that. Hey, Chris, you want to take this buyer on for me? You know, give me 25% of the commission.
oh, I see. Okay, I see. Now
It's all negotiable
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
within the limits of the law. Like you're saying, you got to.
Yeah, because I see a lot of realtors, they work for the same company, but they're pushing other people's properties like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah, with the advertisement like that, they're just trying to, you know, I've never personally done it with other brokerages. They're posting their Facebook posts for properties they have available. I do it for, you know, agents in my office.
Okay, I see. All right. I didn't know how that worked.
All right. So we talked about the guy that wants to get out from underneath his landlord. He's like, hey, okay, he's got the epiphany. Wow, I can just go buy. Did you mention with that government, the time to own program, is there like a down payment assistance in there, or how's that work?
So it's the first time home buyers program.
Yep.
So it's like 100% financing.
Okay, so zero money down. if
Zero
you will?
money down.
Yeah.
Good faith deposit. Which
Well, you
comes
got to
back
have
to
good credit, though, obviously.
Well, your credit, it depends. You have to have a certain credit score, but you can buy. People can buy. You might not be eligible for that program, but you can buy with credit as low as 560.
Shit, I've been working all these hard for all these years, and I could have had a 560.
But you're going to have a high interest rate when it comes to that. But I mean, there's a bunch of programs. My, you know, recommendation to people who are looking to buy is get in contact with a loan officer. You may be qualified for things you might not know about.
That's true, yeah, because, I've learned that in all my years in doing this, too.
That might be a good next guest.
What?
A loan officer segment.
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah,
Yeah?
I'm sure he probably knows someone he can recommend this
Absolutely.
He probably knows 12 loan officers.
to. Right. But you basically have your own hookups, like you know a loan officer, you know, you have just being in the business for so long.
Yeah, we all have our go-tos.
Yeah, right.
What that is, you want to be in business with someone that you're familiar with, so you know that, hey, this deal's going to get
And you can
closed.
trust them and
Yes.
stuff like that, and you know they'll get things done for
Absolutely.
you. That's
know,
cool.
you-
All right, so that's the renter looking to transition, move up the food chain. How about the couple watching this right now? They just got married and they're just shopping around. They just want to go out and get a house. Like they're not renting or they're just living wherever, or maybe they're not really strapped for cash. Maybe, I don't know how you'd categorize that, more conventional as opposed to, I know there's different types of financing, right?
Yep.
There's different walks of life, if you will. Just, Mr. and Mrs. Jones just got married, looking to start a family, want to go out and get a white picket fence in Bristol somewhere. What's that look like for them?
So it all depends on what assets, credit score, debt. The program you have FHA, which is government based, lower credit scores, usually first time home buyers. Then you have conventional, stronger base financing, higher credit score. And then you have the first time home buyer for Chaffa and conventional. Then you have the VA, which is.
See, this is why I get confused. There's too much shit to remember.
Yeah, and nobody really ever comes out and tells you, right?
Right. I couldn't remember all that stuff.
Yeah, I work with a lot of veterans too, with Veterans United, and I get a lot of government clients, which is 100% financing as well, but they are responsible for their closing costs. But there's no PMI in the loans for VA, so it's just a great program for our people who serve this country.
All right, and what's PMI?
Pre-mortgage insurance.
Yeah.
You writing that down? You gonna buy a house?
You got to clarify.
I got a guy.
Not everybody's a real estate expert, Steve.
No, I know.
Also, the audience is watching.
No, I know. I'm just saying, I got a guy.
Oh, that's great, man.
I just had a question for you, and I forgot what the heck. Oh, all right. So listen, I have a lot of people that are flipping houses.
Yep.
Okay. Now, is it just as beneficial, or not as beneficial as actually buying a multifamily for an investment?
It actually depends on who the client is. I have some people that don't like getting involved with multifamilies. They'd rather buy single families and just rent that out.
But they only make that one paycheck. Let's say they make 30. They don't make that much.
Depends on what you get the house and how much you got to put into it.
Right. All right. Let's say you're an average. I have customers that they buy a house for like $100,000 and they'll dump in like another 75 or $100,000 and sell it for $250.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So then they make $50,000. Now, is that worth it in the long run? Let's say I was to buy a 3-family with tenants already in it that've been there. They're paying their rent. It's paying the bills. What would you recommend?
Absolutely. If the house is paying it for itself, then long term you're building equity.
But then, yeah. So
I mean, if it has good, you're always going to take a risk being a landlord with tenants. There's always that risk. But if you have good tenants and it works and numbers work, absolutely.
Yeah. Because I'm wondering, because I have some flippers, they're just flipping left and right, man. It's like, Jesus. It's like,
even in this market.
But they have to work so much harder, I believe, to make those healthy, because you at least want to make 6 figures, I'm guessing. If you
absolutely. I mean, and the game is to make money, but this is a harder market for that situation.
Yeah. What's a harder market for the buying the multifamilies or the flippers?
I think, well, for me, I mean, just looking at like what houses are selling for,
right?
So it's not like it was a few years back where you're getting houses lower. So but if you're selling, if you're doing 10 to 12 flips a year, and say you average 35,000 each flip, you're still gonna you're gonna make good money.
Right. Yeah.
See the crux of the argument, like what Toby's saying. The conundrum is getting the seller to accept an offer that even in this market, let's say, because the writing's on the wall that it's the market's on fire and I can get a lot of money for my property. You got to go to Mr. Jones and say, Mr. Jones, I know that your house is worth $200,000, but I'll give you $1.25 for it. So you got to come in low, because if you don't create that spread, then you're not going to make any money off of it. Because if you give Mr. Jones $2.25 and he knows it's worth whatever, the margin's not enough there. You have to come in low ball, if you will. Like you have to create that margin. So it only works really if you got someone who's really motivated to sell their property, like they just inherited it or whatever, and they don't feel like messing with it. So they're just like, oh, well, Toby, just bring in an investor, and you can do what you want with it. I don't care. But the seller that's not motivated and then looking for top dollar in this market, like what Toby's saying, because the market's really good right now, it doesn't really work, because the investor is not going to make anything off of it, because you're going to come in and put $50,000 into the property, and there's no meat left on the bone for the investors, because from the jump you have to come in with a low offer,
right?
Because the guy's just motivated to unload it. You don't want the property.
All right. So someone selling their house, do you tend to go low, typically, like a little bit lower than asking, or do you just go at asking and just hope for the best for multiple offers?
When I'm going to a listing appointment, I
Yeah.
try and price it as best as possible. I don't. There are.
Do you want to go slightly lower than you would like to?
Just under, but you don't want to go too much because
Right.
then that's just
Like maybe 5 or 10 grand?
maybe if that. Honestly,
Oh, really?
If you price it right, it's gonna sell for what's gonna sell. I just don't feel like you what this market is and the advantage seller has. If you're doing kind of a disservice, I think, for the seller if you go in there and price it like 10,000, 20,000.
Well, but you know the market, and you know that it would probably go overselling, like 90% sure it's going to go over asking. But if I was the homeowner, I'd be like, what the hell are you doing? Why are you under,
That's what that.
You-
then
you
you
get
have a
that a lot.
conversation like with that, and they're like, "Oh, I want to price it with this,"
and then you have to prove to them
So yeah,
why
so
you're doing it.
I just feel for me it's worked out best just pricing it what the market is saying the house is
So you
worth.
do price it where it's supposed to be. Okay. I see.
Plus, it depends who you're representing, right, Toby? Because he could represent a seller or he could represent a buyer. So if he's representing the guy that flips houses, it's a different conversation.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if he-
100%.
he's got a legal allegiance to the seller. Like if he's representing you, you're trying to sell your house, he's fighting for you. And then I come in with my guy that flips houses, and then me and Toby have a conversation
Yeah,
about
right,
like,
exactly.
well, I don't know if it's worth 200 grand because it's leaking. And then he's like, well, it is worth 200 grand because of the comps. And then
Yeah.
so then we have a professional
Right.
debate. Depends who you're representing.
Exactly. Like I getting back to that condo, like I pulled the numbers and there was condos that closed higher, but just the condition and everything with this one. So I said, here's where I think it should be. I believe it's going to sell for over ask. And it did. It set a record in the complex for highest closed sale, no inspections, nothing. And there were cash offers that we didn't go with. We went with a finance because the buyer said whatever it doesn't appraise, we're going to pay the difference.
So there's no law or rule that you have to have inspections? Or is that the inspections for the buyers for their
Absolutely.
peace of mind, but they eventually have to get the house inspected?
Just
Or
so
no?
you have the appraisal. With financing,
Oh,
you have
just for the appraisal,
So
that's
the
all it's
appraisal,
for.
yes.
Okay.
So I don't.
Not the safety of the property.
Yes, I always recommend to have an inspection because honestly,
Unless they're from New York.
because there's a lot of things that my eye, your eye, or Chris's eye aren't going to see that a professional home inspector is going to see.
Oh,
where
absolutely.
down the road, it might you waive your inspection and then
Your
you
chimney-
got about
your chimney's
35,000 worth of work that needs to be done. So I mean, it depends. I try and do it where hey, we're going to do inspections, but it's as is, meaning that we're going to do our inspections for our own due diligence. You still, as a buyer, have the right to back out
Right.
if something comes up. And at the same time, if it's something that's going to come up in any home inspection, chances are you might be able to get it taken care of with the seller because if the deal falls apart, it may come up again. And then here you just wasted 3-4 weeks.
Right.
So you might as well just get it done.
Plus stuff like termites, mold, leaks. You don't want to screw around with that. You know what I mean? It's just kind
Yeah.
of,
Yeah. 'Cause then you get sill
Yeah.
plates. that
Chimneys.
need to be replaced,
Yeah.
Chimneys.
Yeah.
and
Who's going to go up on their roof and check their own chimney? And what are they looking for? You know what I'm saying?
You just got to have the right guy in there looking.
Oh, that's cool.
But realtors, you've been in enough properties, even the realtor not being an inspector per se, but realtors, develop a trained eye after a while.
Yes.
You start to, because the pitfalls.
Exactly.
Your client doesn't know. Your client's going in somewhat just off of what they've seen on TV or whatever, but you're the professional. That's why people should have a realtor. I hear that a lot too. Say, oh, what do I need a realtor for? Oh,
Yeah.
They don't do nothing. All they do is open the door, put a sign
That's
there, blah, blah,
bullshit.
blah.
I know, like the sold by owners.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
Exactly.
So like we're getting back to like I had a client that bought a condo and we were getting hammered every offer we were putting in, and he's like, "What do we need to do?" Condos are different than single family because the HOA is responsible
Right.
for most of the dwelling.
Yeah.
So my client's like, "What do we need to do?" I said, "Here's where you should. I recommend you going for a dollar amount. It's a condo." I said, "If something comes up, it's not going to be that major. Waive the inspections." We ended up getting it. We got it lower than actually we did an escalation clause.
What's that?
So escalation clause is like, say we're going at, property's listed at 2.25. We're going in 2.25, $1,000 higher than any other offer up to 240.
Okay.
So with proof of other offer.
Oh.
So they have to show us. So we ended up getting it for less than the max number we went with. Closed, happy home buyer, some minor stuff came up after, but nothing that is.
Yeah, usually when there's a condo, there's not that much
No.
because the HOA, that's part of their maintenance and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So you don't have to really worry about too much major stuff going on.
Absolutely.
Any more questions for Toby?
I just had one closing one here. Advice, Toby, for anyone thinking about getting a real estate license, people that just stepped out of the class, okay, they got a broker, now what do they do? Your advice, if you were going to rewind the clock years and say, okay, what would you tell new people that are just coming into the game? Because you've been doing this for a while. You've been around the block for a hot minute now. What's your professional opinion to help the new people coming in?
First and foremost, do research on where you're going to go. Obviously, training is very important when you're a newer agent.
You're talking to select a brokerage?
I'm talking. Well, I mean, do your research on what they're going to offer you, what type of training.
Yep.
You know, because when I first got in my license, I didn't have that much training, so I was just kind of like winging it.
So is it good to find like a mentor or something?
Absolutely,
like that? Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Absolutely. And then it's just, if you want to be successful, you have to work hard. And, they say it takes a good 5 years to build a good business. And, you have to put a lot of work in, and it's just been nonstop grind, and you're going to get what you put into it.
Is there like an average of what to market yourself, average cost per month that like marketing and all that other stuff that you budget for, or
So, with me, you can market to the ceiling.
Right,
You
yeah,
have
right.
agents that get involved with Zillow, and that's $5,000 a
right?
month.
But some of this stuff doesn't pay off.
Doesn't pay off. Like now, it's a different market than when I got into real estate, where you can get a Realtor.com system for like $200 a month, where you're getting.
Oh, it's that low?
That was then. Now it's like $5,000.
Is that what
And
they
that's
sell
what I
you
was gonna
leads?
say.
They sell you leads?
Yeah, you used to get like 13 leads a month, and
Because we have some realtors. They were paying thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
I'm like, because we have a prescription. We have a subscription service. It's $500 a month, but you also get videos that we basically just have them come in the studio. They pump out 5 videos, and then they can distribute them the way they want.
Yeah.
Like we'll put the graphics on them for everything. So all they have to do is just hit send. And then we have other clients that they gave us access to their things, and they don't even have to post it anything. They'll just okay it. They give us their brand like colors and all that crap. We sit down together with them, give them their brand colors and all that stuff like that. They sign up, and then they get X amount of videos per month automatically posted for them to all the formats and stuff like that.
What's beautiful, just to kind of piggyback off what you're saying now, is the fact that people also get your professional videography, consultative experience, guidance, direction, like a Steven Spielberg kind of thing. Look at this thing we're sitting in right now. It's like MGM Studios, right? And
I'm
then
going to show you my other studio.
and not to mention that you do all the legwork afterward, the editing, the post-production. It's time consuming.
Well, that's
People
the
don't have
stuff
time
you
for all
don't
that.
like doing, right? Because every realtor that I found out, they're like, it takes so much of my time just posting because there's so many different platforms.
Yeah, there is.
It's like, and then you got to do your own work on top of that and show houses and, it's just, I don't understand how you guys do it.
So I spend maybe $500 a month on marketing.
Yeah.
And that's including my database. So my database is where I have all my contacts, my past clients. So I'm very big on keeping in contact with all my past clients.
That's a good idea, yeah.
Whether it's, a holiday card, or if it's a birthday card, or
Great
if
idea.
it's a home anniversary card, or, client just having a baby or something with a pet. Top of mind.
You
I
get
send
all
out-
that info from them, huh?
So I get all birthdays, all of that stuff, and then
Smart guy.
I have my database. I have it all marked in my database when I wake up in the morning, my tasks for the day, and
it's Ann's birthday today. Let me send her a
Let me
card.
send her a birthday card, or it's
a
their
great
home
idea.
anniversary coming up. Let me do that, and it's done well for me.
That's a great idea.
So, Toby, okay, based on what you just said, people do their due diligence research, get a good broker. Say, I'm going to go to Keller Williams, or maybe they're going to go to your brokerage, right?
we're not going to Keller Williams anymore. We're going to his.
Yeah,
You're going to Lux
Gotcha.
Realty.
Lux
Going
Realty.
to Lux Realty.
We are hiring.
That's LUXE, correct?
Correct.
Yep. They come in, say, okay, Toby, I'm here. I just got my license. What do I do now? What's lead generation? What do you recommend? What actions should that newly recruited agent that's on your team now? How should they spend their time?
So I'm big on getting it out there that you're an agent, letting everybody and anybody you know that, hey, I'm in real estate. If you need anyone that's looking to buy, sell, or invest or rent, hit me up. Hitting the phones every day, just grinding every day, trying to bring business in.
Now, does it cost a realtor to get into a brokerage?
No.
No.
Some brokerages will pay you.
They'll pay you.
Yeah, I had a couple.
Like a sign-on fee.
Like a sign-on fee where you have to stay for a certain amount of time, but due to numbers and everything, just for me, it's just something that wasn't good for me.
I didn't know how that worked. So
That's fabulous. The fact that you started when the pandemic started, and then boom, you already got your own brokerage. Just
Yeah,
like
I started
3 years or whatever.
2017, I got my license, and
Yeah.
I was a couple years with Keller Williams, a smaller brokerage before that. Then myself and my two business partners, one of them we were on a team, and we left that team and we formed the Lux Group under Keller Williams, and then we left and formed Lux Realty.
oh, okay, I see. I know because there's a lot of realtors out there that I know. I'm like, it's hard to explain. Some of them are scared to do what you did. Like they'll stick under the umbrella of a well-known name like Keller Williams or Remax. Oh, I'm afraid to branch out because of the name. And I'm like, okay, so they can get they're scared to get their brokerage license. I'm like, why are you so scared? I'm like, nothing against you or anything like that. But I'm like, these are qualified people who have been doing real estate for like 10, 20 years. And I said, you're always bitching about your company, but you want to work for them. What are they doing for you? Well, nothing. I'm like, well, how do you get your customers? Well, word of mouth, because from their name, not because of, whoever, the big names out there. I said, well, if you're not getting anything from them besides a plaque, what are they doing for you? Why don't you just start your own? Because I don't want the responsibility. Is there that much more responsibility being a broker rather than a realtor?
There is. There's more. There's
a
more.
lot more?
There's more responsibility. Absolutely.
But I mean, as far as like legwork and all that stuff.
Well, the paperwork that comes behind it and some of the other things, it's just some realtors.
But that stuff's not already done for you. Most of it from the realtor themselves.
So being a broker, there's more responsibility. So as agents, there's some agents that don't want that responsibility of doing that, and they're comfortable where they're at.
What kind of responsibility that's out of?
It's just you have to do all the paperwork, the escrow accounts and all.
But doesn't the realtor do it most of that stuff?
There's different types of paperwork. So like all the paperwork I'm responsible for is paperwork with my clients and stuff like that. There's other stuff like as a broker when you're running a brokerage that comes into hand of where it just wasn't something for me where I wanted to get my broker's license.
Okay, I was just wondering why.
Yeah, and it depends on each brokerage has their own splits that they offer agents, and some people are happy with that, and some people like the camaraderie of being around certain brokerages. It's just
okay.
Like I said, when I was with Keller Williams, they were big on training, and it helped me out tremendously to be where I'm at today. Okay. But it was just time for me to go on and do my own thing, and that's where I'm at.
Cool.
That being said, the website, luxrealty.com, where can people go to?
luxrealty.com. We're on Facebook, Lux Realty. I have my Facebook page, which is Toby Rinaldi. And then let me get you for the website for Lux Realty. Terrible, I don't have that on hand.
It's all right.
Where's the office?
The office is on New Britain Ave, 734 New Britain Ave in Newington.
Oh, okay.
Right
Nice.
above Town Line Pizza.
Nice.
Right, wait, in New Britain?
That's right. It's right by John Downey Drive, right?
Newington.
New Britain, Newington.
Oh,
line.
Newington. Okay, I'm just trying to think where that was. I'm trying to figure out how to do this stupid banner thing so I can put it up on there.
So that's good. So you guys serve, for the most part, a lot of that Hartford County.
I serve pretty much all of Connecticut.
Wow.
I will.
Okay.
It doesn't mean I've done all of Connecticut, but I will go.
Yeah.
I've gone down to Monroe. I've gone, Enfield, New London. I just closed a couple transactions in New London. Just real quick, the website is luxrealtyct.com.
All right, let's see. Lux Realty. Oops, I can't freaking spell today. luxrealty.com or
luxrealtyct.com.
oh, ct.com.
See, and that's just what we was talking about, is your work ethic. The fact that most people would probably be like, I'm not going to New London. But you're just like, you don't even hesitate. You don't even think about it. You're like, duty calls and you're
Yes.
on it. You know what I mean? That's impressive.
I have bills, and I'm not gonna be able to pay those bills if
gotta eat.
if I'm not grinding.
Yeah, it's a business. That's part of it. But for the most part, what really jumps out at me is just your get up and go to serve people. Like you're like a trooper. You know what I mean? You're on it.
You know what helps is having a great support system. First and foremost, my fiance is my number one supporter, and to have her right next to me,
That does
encourage
help.
me.
Trust
It
me, I
helps
know.
tremendously.
I know.
All right, you about to get married? Congratulations.
Yes, thank you.
All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for today. So make sure you look up luxrealtyct.com. It's on the screen right now. And if you want to hear this episode in about 2 days, it should be on the iHeart, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Odyssey, and every other platform if you want to check it out and re-listen to the interview. But thanks again, Toby, for showing us up and giving us some information about the real estate business.
Thanks for having me.
Toby, that was awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chris.